The Pentagon has made an announcement that could reshape the future of air combat. Boeing's F-47 next-generation air dominance fighter may take to the skies years ahead of schedule. More than just another stealth platform, this aircraft is being described as America's first true sixth-generation jet. Officials say it makes the F-22 Raptor look like yesterday's technology. And while the public only learned of it in 2025, experimental versions have secretly been flying for years. China believed it had seized the lead in next-generation warfare. The United States has just proved them wrong. On March 21, 2025, President Donald Trump stood inside the Oval Office. Beside him were Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin. Together, they announced that Boeing had won the contract to build America's next-generation air dominance platform. Its official designation, the F-47. For decades, new fighters have taken years, often decades, to go from blueprint to flight. The F-22 program began in the early 1980s and entered service more than 20 years later. The F-35 Lightning II followed the same slow pattern. But the F-47 is different. On that day in Washington, senior leaders signaled that history was accelerating. Colin Miller, vice president and general manager of Boeing's Phantom Works division, told industry insiders that the public would be surprised at how soon they would see the F-47 in the sky. Those words were not marketing language. They were a hint. For the truth is this: the F-47 has already been flying. Behind a wall of secrecy, Boeing and Lockheed Martin began testing experimental demonstrators as far back as 2019. These X-planes accumulated hundreds of hours of flight time, proving technologies that few outside the program can even imagine. General Alvin later confirmed that these secret prototypes quietly laid the foundation for the jet the public now knows as the F-47. This means the aircraft is not a paper design. It is a maturing platform, validated in simulations, wind tunnels, and actual skies. America is not beginning a sixth-generation program. It is accelerating one, and that acceleration is aimed squarely at rivals who believed they were catching up. What makes the F-47 so extraordinary? Start with range. This fighter will have a combat radius of more than 1,000 nautical miles, nearly double that of today's aircraft. In a theater defined by the vast distances of the Pacific, this is nothing short of revolutionary. Next is speed. The F-47 will cruise beyond Mach 2 while still managing fuel efficiency thanks to adaptive cycle engines. These new power plants can reconfigure themselves mid-flight, shifting between high-efficiency cruise modes and maximum thrust combat settings. But perhaps the most groundbreaking change is how the F-47 will fight. It will never fly alone. Each jet will command a formation of autonomous drones known as collaborative combat aircraft. A single pilot becomes a quarterback directing an entire aerial team, some drones carrying sensors, some carrying weapons, all linked through secure data networks. This transforms air combat from one-on-one engagements into orchestrated symphonies of manned and unmanned coordination. Its stealth is another leap. President Trump called the aircraft virtually unseeable. Engineers have moved beyond radar-absorbent coatings into entirely new materials and geometries. If the F-22 made radar operators nervous, the F-47 will make them blind. And amid all this futuristic innovation, one feature remains from a different era: a cannon. American planners know that close-range combat can still decide wars. While other nations have shifted focus to long-range missile duels, the United States is ensuring its pilots will never be without the decisive option of a gunfight. Before we dive deeper into what this means for global security, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Arsenal Exposed, and share your thoughts in the comments. Over 90% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it ensures you never miss updates on the most important breakthroughs in aviation and defense. Why does this accelerated timeline matter so much? Because America's adversaries have been racing for the same goal. China has promoted its sixth-generation projects aggressively, claiming it might surpass the United States. Russia, though limited by its economy, has also boasted of new programs. But Boeing's announcement undermines those narratives. When Colin Miller said the public would see the F-47 sooner than expected, it was not enthusiasm. It was a signal. America is not just keeping pace, it is pulling ahead. The numbers prove the point. The initial contract is worth more than $20 billion. Over the coming decades, the Air Force plans to buy at least 185 F-47s. Life cycle costs will run into the hundreds of billions. This is no demonstration program. It is a generational commitment to air dominance. None of this speed would be possible without massive industrial investment. Boeing has poured billions into upgrading its facilities in St. Louis, building production lines specifically for sixth-generation construction. Thousands of engineers and technicians have been hired, many of them veterans who know what is at stake. Miller himself adds credibility. At Northrop Grumman, he oversaw advanced prototypes. His confidence in early flight testing is not speculation. It is based on progress already made. The Air Force has echoed that confidence. General Alvin has praised what he called the unprecedented maturity of the design, pointing to the years of secret validation flights. This is no longer a concept on paper. It is a real aircraft, ready for production and ready for war. The contract also reshapes the defense industry itself. Lockheed Martin, which dominated stealth fighter production with the F-22 and F-35, has lost this prize to Boeing. That shift injects new competition and innovation into American fighter development. At a time when critics wondered if the United States could still out-innovate its rivals, Boeing has answered. For adversaries, the news is a strategic shock. Intelligence reports suggested that China and Russia were aiming to narrow the technology gap by the 2030s. Instead, they now face an even wider gulf. The collaborative combat model alone, manned aircraft directing swarms of drones, places the United States years ahead. Combine that with adaptive propulsion, revolutionary stealth, and unmatched range, and the challenge becomes overwhelming. But this is not only about machines. It is about people. American pilots will soon train to operate in a new paradigm. They will no longer manage a single aircraft. They will command networks of systems, drones, and sensors. The skills will be immense. The payoff will be dominance. For veterans and active duty personnel, the F-47 continues a lineage stretching back to the P-51 Mustang, the F-86 Sabre, the F-15 Eagle, and the F-22 Raptor. Each generation of aviators has relied on technology that pushed the limits. The F-47 now carries that torch. Economically, the program is fueling thousands of jobs. Boeing's investments ripple through supply chains, from advanced materials to software development. Every dollar invested strengthens both national security and American prosperity. Consider the details of what makes this jet different. Adaptive cycle engines that shift modes mid-flight. Artificial intelligence integration that turns a pilot into a mission commander. Secure networking that binds the jet to satellites, drones, and ground stations. Stealth materials that reduce radar, infrared, and even acoustic signatures. Weapons that include both beyond visual range missiles and the cannon for close combat. Together, these advances create not just a fighter, but a system of systems designed to dominate contested airspace for decades. The F-47 is more than a plane. It is a signal of American intent. By fielding it earlier than anyone expected, the United States shows allies and adversaries alike that it will not surrender the skies. For allies, the message is reassurance. For adversaries, it is a warning. Since the dawn of stealth, American innovation has defined aerial combat. From the F-117 Nighthawk to the B-2 Spirit, from the F-22 to the F-35, each generation has rewritten the rules. The F-47 now stands ready to do so again. What began as whispers of secret test flights has become official policy, backed by billions of dollars, thousands of workers, and the determination of a nation. The aircraft is not a promise. It is a reality. Colin Miller's words remain. The public will be surprised at how soon it flies. When that day comes, the jet will carry more than a pilot. It will carry the weight of American innovation, the pride of its people, and the security of its allies. Rivals who thought they could catch up will confront a sobering truth. The United States is once again decades ahead. The Boeing F-47 next-generation air dominance fighter is more than technology. It is a commitment to survival, to superiority, to protection, and to national pride. The story of this jet is still unfolding. As the program advances, new details will emerge, new capabilities will be revealed, and history will continue to be written. This is Arsenal Exposed. If you believe in the future of American air power, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let us know in the comments what you think about the F-47. America's air power remains second to none.